Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Philip Leather, and I have much pleasure in singing for you the celebrated risque songs of the late Douglas Byng. Dougie and I became firm friends as long ago as 1976, and during that time I had the honour to be encouraged and guided by this redoubtable star in what Noel Coward described as the most refined vulgarity in London. For those of you who remember those songs, which Dougie in latter years considered quite suitable for the nursery, I hope they amuse and stir in you a tinge of nostalgia. For the youngsters, I hope, like myself, you find them as witty and as appealing as the day I first heard them. The first song is called Vivette of the Vestiaire.
In me, you see, a very weak and quite antique enchantress from Paris. I've flown across the sea in flannel lingerie. I'm just a dear old pet that Frenchmen don't forget. To greet the men, I sit here like a broody hen who can't hatch out her eggs. And although my days go back to Louis XVI, I've lovely rococo legs. Vivette of the Vestiaire, the pet of the Folie Bergère, sitting here for 20 years or more, knitting by the ever-open door. Vivette of the Vestiaire, building my fairy castles in the air. Once I owned a chateau with a garden full of ruins, lots of lovers' wooings, lots of mill and cooings, and after all I've ended up attendant to the doings. Oh, Vivette of the Vestiaire. And so, you see, a very weedy, raw-seedy gargoyle from Paris. I'm over 93, and no one's cup of tea. When Frenchmen rush inside, I always flush with pride. Some years ago, I joined a very naked show, the young men to entice. 10 lovely girls, dressed as a string of pearls, but no one could pay the price. I made a splash, or Paris had a pash, for la belle Vivette, la vache. Vivette of the Vestiaire, the pet of the Folie Bergère. Once I posed as Venus on the boards, wore no clothes and froze me vocal cords. Vivette of the Vestiaire, I stuck it although the living was rather bare. Then I danced the can-can in Montmartre before the war. Coloured lights galore, windmills on the door. But now my moulin is the rouge and won't work anymore, for poor Vivette of the Vestiaire.
An ancient love lyric from old Mexico.
Far, far over the sea, my man's calling to me. Come where lovers are free. Mexico, Mexico, sends you so sexy, oh. There where passion and crime is 100% all the time. Come where the heat from the sun's burning rays sends you so gaga you tear off your stays. I'm Mexican Minnie, all jolly and ginny, I loll in the mountains all day. Though I'm well off the map, I'm just covered in slap, luring brigands to come and play halfpenny nap. But they get very, very reckless and will stay for breakfast. They go on refusing to pay. I said, well, you can go, I'm sick of the gang, so you won't see my tango today. Rivers rushing along, give us a laughter and song. Livers never go wrong, nothing can damp us, we camp in the pampas. Lovers stroll neath the stars, giving each other cigars. Castanets filling the air with delight, and bassinets filling all day and all night. I'm Mexican Minnie, I waggle me pinny at all the bad men in the West. Though I've been quite the craze since my cow punching days, but I once punched a very fat cow in the chest. I'm willful and wary, and once without Mary, I went on the prairie to play. But the bad man, the tractor, shot me up my cactus and blew my sombrero away. On with the
the motley, on with the dance, let joy be unconfined. For life is just a game of chance with memories intertwined. The past is mirrored in a haze, yet sometimes there appears a little link with bygone days to charm the passing years. From a tall boy in the spare room, where each night I go to rest, comes a small but treasured heirloom, and the one they love the best. For I'm the only bit of ermine in the family, a relic from those noble days of yore. I first started as a spread on King Charles II's bed, though by morning I was mostly on the floor. Then on one of Nell gowns, well, I saw her ups and downs, till the merry monarch caught me in a door. I was worn beneath the belt, and poor Nelly lost her pelt. Still it's clothes that make a lady, nothing more. Treasures may come and treasures may go, but memories linger on. And often in the box room you are glad that they are gone. A photograph, a manly calf, creates a mild surprise. A little hidden packet, but who cared about the size? For though hope eternal springs, life's made up of little things. Like the only piece of ermine in the family, respected and beloved by one and all, I attained the quaintest shape as a late Victorian cape, when the Duchess was expecting friends to call. If the bishop came to tea, I was draped on the settee, till his lordship had an accident, a fall. I was soft and warm and mellow, then I went a nasty yellow. Still it's clothes that make a lady after all. I'm the only bit of fur left in the family, no diary could describe my rise and fall. My career was somewhat marred by a queer young Coldstream guard, who would wear me on his bearskin at a ball. I did see a bit of life on the squire's second wife, till I graced her husband's coffin at the Pall. Though I'm worn by poor relations, I have seen 4 coronations, and it's clothes that make a lady after all. It has always been correct, and I'll keep my self-respect at the jumble sale to take my final call. Well, I am a family link, but I must confess I stink. But it's clothes that make a lady, nothing more. From the bygone days of charity balls comes Tatty, the Earl's 3rd daughter. I am just a debutante, full of fun and frolic, brought up by a maiden aunt, slightly alcoholic, slimmer than a Verdivier through extensive diet. At the drawing rooms each year, I'm a blasted riot. Hey-ho, lacquer me, whoops, the star got her. I'm Tatty, the Earl's 3rd daughter. I unbalance the social scales. At that old buck house, I'm as lively as a louse, with my ermine and my dirty tails. Foreign princes I drag to the slaughter, if they've got a long pedigree. In the bedchamber or grotto, on his swarky mouth's my motto, society, that's me. When I grace a foreign court, I am quite de rigueur, till I go in pour le sport and decrease my figure. Once I met a gay marquis, really most intriguing, but I found his joie de vivre rather too fatiguing. Bon charge, vive la France, but not for little Tatty. I'm Tatty, the Earl's 3rd daughter. I'm a panic in gay Paris. At the Bal de Portard, I was Margaret de Valois, and only wore a fleur de lis. In Monty, I need no supporters. When out on the bust I've been, I played bull with J. Luigi, after all, noblesse oblige. Society, that's me. I'm Tatty, the Earl's 3rd daughter, and in Venice I'm quite banal. I was cut by broken glass in the Doge's palace, very close to the Grand Canal. En route I got off with a porter, and I said with a roguish laugh, I've had trouble with my visa and I want to go to Pisa. Society, At the Comedy Theatre London in the Charlotte Review of 1933, Dougie was discovered as a very old leafless tree.
To think that I should have to be just nothing better than a tree, stuck here in lonely solitude, so old and shivering in the nude, without a leaf to form a verdant cloak. It's not a joke to be a blasted oak. I'm the tree little birdies used to nest in. I'm the tree pretty children used to rest in. I'm the tree all the pixies did adore so. Now perspiring hikers clean their bikes against me torso. I'm the tree all the woodpeckers meet friends in. A tree that all the squirrels spend weekends in. A tree done in by lightning and hailstones hard as agates. A tree with fallen branches, all me children now are faggots. You must admit it's lousy to be full of wind and maggots. God knows why I'm a tree. To think that I should have to wear a nest of robins in me hair. These goings on beneath the branches are worse than underneath the arches. I'd really like to give them all a shove. I'm tired of being a dumb support for love. I'm the tree that the Virgin Queen once hid in. I'm the tree that the gypsy left the kid in. I'm the tree. Never mind how chill the air is. Nudists dance around me shouting, we believe in fairies. Just the tree. I was once a tree of knowledge, a tree by which young men climbed in at college. A tree that tramps in camp against their shabby clothes and pinning. A tree that lovers lean against when spring is just beginning. You really must admit that I'm more sinned against than sinning. God knows why I'm a tree. A tree that every pussycat each morning comes and claws at. A tree that every water rat each evening comes and gnaws at. A tree that for some reason every dog decides to pause at. God knows why I'm a tree. It isn't that old Roman matron lolling on the banks of the Tiber after the second house at the Colosseum. Viva! Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears, for I'll sing of the joys of all Rome, where I lived all alert and well out of the dirt. Oh, I made myself very at home. But the empire declined, we were not quite refined. We got mixed with our wrongs and our rights. Yes, I openly say that while Rome had its day, I was far more concerned with its nights. Oh, Rome was a riot in my time, a bit dirty in 30 BC. The temple of Zeus was just full of abuse. Vestal virgins were 9 for 3, and very good value they were too, and no extra charge for Whit Monday, no. To Mark Antony I said, now it's high time. Cleopatra became more refined. What with snakes in the grass and her waggling her arse, it's no wonder we girls decline. Well, once into 8, when the heat was too great, half the Senate fell suddenly queer. The mistress of Isis, spring lists of new vices, sent Caesar to bed for a year. Then a young man who lived with us, known as Lascivious, oh, such a pretty name that, you know, we used to call him Lassie for short. He played with a legion all day. Oh, it caused nasty scandals when 2 pairs of sandals were found on the Appian Way. In a very peculiar position they were, too. Oh, Rome was a riot in my time. Peace and plenty in 20 AD. A bit hard to go wrong on a marble chaise longue, but it's never too hard for me.
Then with Nero I had quite a fly time, till his music got into my mind. What with Rome all alight, and him fiddling all night, it's no wonder we girls decline. It's the year 1900, and it's Maud's first visit to Paris, after the finishing school. Come on, Maud, tell us all about it. People may rave about Mad Monte Carlo, others may prattle of giddy Ostend. Some like the river at Henley or Marlow. Well, let them go if they've money to spend. Though we've been dazed by the gay Crystal Palace, or thrilled by a bottle of eau de cologne, or what could compare with a fortnight in Paris, and the charm and the calm of the Bois de Boulogne? In the Bois, as we stroll with our perfect sang-froid. Once again, it's so plain, all the men have a je ne sais quoi. Ah, bonjour, oui, monsieur. Well, they're certainly au revoir. Ah, Madame Royale, and how are you, my dear? Out once again? Why, it's less than a year. And your old Arc de Triomphe looks lovely from here. In the Bois, in the Bois. The flowers, the fountains, the lights and the laughter, the throb of a waltz as it floats on the air. We shall remember it many years after. The smell of the nuit and the old vestiaire. A garçon, attendez, I'm feeling so reckless. Give me a feed and a hot cup of tea. Oh, I do love those long rolls they give you at breakfast. No wonder the French are also en famille. In the Bois, where you dine, taking wine with papa. In your teens, full of beans, you just let off a gay ooh la la, quel esprit, mais oui oui. Well, I must have one more petit pois. Ah, there's the old Duke de Guise driving by. His carriage is stopped by those trees, aren't they high? He's just getting out, and I think I know why. In the Bois, in the Bois, in the Bois, in the Bois, where every old man goes too far. C'est la vie, quelle surprise. Well, things must be comme ci or comme ça. There's Elaine. What, again? Yes, she does look a bit under par. Oh, these photos of Paris are really first class. Let me turn over, I'll lie on the grass. Oh, Mr. Brown wants to see Montparnasse. In the Bois, in the Bois. When a young man's fancy turns to what the young girls have been thinking about all winter, it must be spring. Come out, don't shout about, for spring is in the air. The daffodils and whippoorwills are mating everywhere. The servant girls in wool with pearls are straying near the copse. Old Windsor Park's just full of laughs, and Eton's full of spots. Ah-ha! Spring, spring, laughing spring, laughing, chaffing, laughing spring. Let the merry welkin ring, whatever that may mean. Fun and frolic fill the air, happy children everywhere, while they play at lovers' wooing. God knows not what they are doing. All full of fun and ginger beer. Jolly windy spring is here. Come on! Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought I was Brunhilde again. Or perhaps I was having a little trouble with my Goethe-Dämmerung. Come out, don't flop about. There's work, my dear, for you. For all the earth's giving birth, God knows what we're to do. The snappy twigs and happy pigs are bursting with delight. The birds are busy in the parks, the cows stay out all night. Ah-ha! Spring, spring, busy spring, busy, fizzy, dizzy spring. Char ladies are chattering over chip and dale. Flora with attendant fair, broom and bluewell everywhere. In the boudoir, Auntie Nell is dusting down her Botticelli. Nature peeps out all bright and clear. Rosy, cheeky spring, a fruity, salty spring.
Don't call me early, mother dear, I'm up already, spring, or perhaps not, is here. Good people a guest, and 'tis none other than Mistress Nellie Gwynn. Hooray, hooray! Well, boys, ha ha ha, well, there's a lot of revelry afoot. We keep things moving, don't we? In these merry Stuart days, the nation seldom gets depressed. All through that merry monarch, cheerful Charles, the stage door best. But who is it supplies the wit that keeps his temper in? None other than his pretty, witty Mistress Nellie Gwynn. Hail-ho, fuddle all day, pushing me through to the King's highway. Naughty Nellie Gwynn, sporty Nellie Gwynn, a-flopping around in Drury Lane, popping in pubs and out again. A truly sorry state of grace I found old England in, but Nellie was waiting in the queue. I threw a blood orange at Charlie too. He was eating his pith before he knew. A naughty Nellie Gwynn. To liven up the town, he thinks I did me level best. 'Twas I restored the revels that old Cromwell had suppressed. At Peckham Fair I did me share of wittery and fun, with half a Nell Gwynn candle and a halfpenny Chelsea bun. I spy cockles awry, who'd have a dip in me old bran pie. Do you know there's been a lot of very ribald things being said about me? Oh yes, a lot of mud has been flung hence and whence. I've been called some very peculiar names. Mistress Nell, sweet smell of old brewery, and the lot. Now just you listen here. My name is Eleanor Glynn of the Red Air, but I did not write 3 weeks. Oh, believe me, no, I have no time for writing. I leave all the writing to Samuel, Mr. Paps or Pips or something. Oh, i' faith, I don't know how he does pronounce his name. He's secretary to the Admiralty, so I always call him Mr. Poops. You know what's the matter with him, don't you? He is nothing but a dirty old gossip writer who goes round the town saying, "and so to bed" to people, and then he writes about them in his diary. You should have heard what he said about my party on the stage last night. What a finale. Someone had gone up to the King and said, "You're tight as oats." Charles was livid. He spent all the next day touching people for the King's evil. Touching them for his own good, if you ask me. Certainly not for theirs. And he always would have this country dance after dinner. I got so tired of putting up the maypole, I turned to him one evening and I said, "Look, Charles, if you must dance, stick the maypole up yourself and dance round it." And naughty Nellie Gwynn, full of port and gin, dashing around the mulberry bush, carrying off the royal cush. Though many favourites tried my door, a very few got in, but Nellie was out to make a spread. I lay on me lovely silver bed, with my royal appointment overhead. A naughty Nellie Gwynn. I am the goddess of the wine both rough and rude. They say I'm even more unkind than man's ingratitude. I'm really not an ill wind, though I don't give any thanks for being well a frolic wind, just one of nature's pranks. I put things in a girl, I'm just a naughty little girl. I'm Doris, the goddess of wind. Oh, pardon. My behaviour's quite undisciplined. I rush through the valleys and tear up the trees, and brush up the hair on old Scottskilly's knees. I'm Doris, the goddess of wind, and although you suppose you're thick-skinned, taking tea in the garden when skies are so blue, and you think there's no breeze to disturb your bon goût, well, you eat a few crumpets and see what I'll do. It's the wind, it's the wind. I quite delight in blowing carrier pigeons from their course, and I do the most peculiar things to messages in Morse. I lurk in all the churches when the curate reads the prayer, and find the open spaces in his woolsey underwear. I seek out every niche, I'm just a wicked little bitch. I'm Doris, the goddess of wind. I make old ladies burp when they've ginned. Transformations and toupees I tear into shreds, then I blow all the clothes off your old feather beds. I'm Doris, the goddess of wind. I chap parlourmaids' hands till they're skinned. Then I whiz down the chimney and frighten the cook, or turn over the leaves of Aunt Agatha's book. and blow all the soot up her old ingle nook. It's the wind, it's the wind. I'm Doris, the goddess of wind. I make all sorts of things come unpinned. I rustle the newspapers all over town, and just after breakfast attack Major Brown. I'm Doris, the goddess of wind, and I don't get a puff when I've sinned. I blow through the bedrooms and blow out the light. I blow to the left and I blow to the right. My life's just one blowjob from morning till night. It's the wind, it's the wind.
Now look what happened to this old mummy, or vice viscera.
I'm Queen Niffy-Titty, an earth just near the city. Though perhaps a trifle gritty, I'm out of quarantine. It does seem such a pity that the title of this ditty is Nitty, Niffy-Titty, an old Egyptian queen. Throughout every generation, and in perfect preservation, I have slept without the aid of soporifics. In a dim Egyptian grotto, with a rude Egyptian motto scribbled all across me bust in hieroglyphics. Side by side with all the pharaohs, my finale was supreme, till some damn fool explorer woke me up and spoilt me dream. I'm a mummy, with a clove stuck in me tummy, and the vilest kind of spice around my esophagus. While I've rested, a young lady snake has nested in me bum, and had such fun in my sarcophagus. I'm swathed in lint from head to foot, each lot securely tied, and though the wrapper's very plain, there's better things inside. And somewhere I've got Pharaoh's teeth still sticking in me hide. I'm a mummy, hey, hey. Oh, those nights in the oasis, when I toyed with Pharaoh's braces, with stark passion to a place of carefree laughter. I was tossed about and tickled, in the end we both got pickled, and in pickle I've remained forever after. Oh, I paid the price of sin when someone opened up me case. Now a flock of damn mosquitoes do their wooing on me face. I'm a mummy, and I'm feeling somewhat gummy, for I'm not used to the sun on my exterior. If I'm passé and all gassy in the chassis, you just think how long I've rested my posterior. I tell you that for centuries and centuries I've slept, though young men crawled above me in me crypt, they've never crept. I'm well preserved, but I know better ways of being kept. I'm a mummy, hey, hey, I'm a mummy, though I'm going rather crummy, being dumped for countless ages in a cavity. Now I've woken, and my spell for sleep is broken, I shall spend my reappearance in depravity. Oh, agonies I'll suffer through the thinning of the thatch, and though a valuable antique, it isn't any catch. With earwigs in the brassiere, and no free hand to scratch, I'm a mummy, hey, hey. We are not amused. I'm a naughty Victorian lady, full of fire and desire. I live amidst antimacassars, hassocks and pictures of generals about to expire. I fear it's an era much queerer than any since primitive races, so full of confessions, repressions and stuffed birds in cages. But though I look pure and demure, don't imagine I'm slow, oh no, oh no. I will have me fling, and I've learned everything that a lady should know. Naughty Victorian lady, so indiscreet. Don't think I'm dated because I'm created from memories bitter and sweet. My mother's advice I'm continually scorning. I'll romp in the woods until 5 in the morning, and play with the gypsies in spite of the warning. Oh, those naughty Victorian days. I always have young men around me of repute in pursuit
I'm so much admired, but get very tired of lovers continually pressing their suit. At night, very sprightly and brightly, the gardens of Chelsea I favour. Each time that a fairy light fades, I get braver and braver. But surely young Beau be too slow for my frolic and fun. What fun, what fun, hello! His fate I'll decide, for I'm not satisfied till his bow is undone. Naughty Victorian lady, so indiscreet, cutting such capers that young men have vapours, then tear off their stays in the street. I made some wax fruit which I carefully painted. With this kind of work I was not well acquainted. It looked so like the vicar the parlour maid fainted. Oh, those naughty Victorian days, naughty Victorian lady, so indiscreet. Oh, what a gala each night in the parlour, just look at the state of the suite. Today the old sofa away has been carried, so many young men on that horsehair have tarried. It was through that old sofa that mother got married. Oh, those naughty Victorian days. And now the favourite of them all, a song about my faithful and Dougie's ever faithful friend, Flora MacDonald. Now of all the clans in Scottish land, there's none that can compare with the bonny old clan MacDonald, and you'll find them everywhere. Pride of the pack was Flora Mac, that's me, the flower of the flock. My hail and fling made everything turn purple with the shock. Flora MacDonald, heavy with haggis and dripping with dew. Morn is the night I be out in the heather, bending the bracken with the young Charlie Stew. Flora MacDonald, aye, when Charles called me and bade me go forth, clutching his kilt I shot over the border, oh, well over the border. Old Flora MacDonald, the hen of the north. Now me thoughts do fly to times gone by, when Charlie came to sup, and Monia Brawbreck moon click click, oh my God, I had to put him up. One night I found his appetite was off the heel and draw, but I said, no, you'll have your oats in bed and not before. Oh yes, he was very fond of porridge, very addicted to the wee groat. But we girls had to work very hard in the days of the Scottish War. Oh, we had to do our bit, we had to do a good deal. All those banks and braes of Bonnie Doon, well, everyone was so busy there was nowhere to lie doon at all. But Scotland was very gay, people taking high roads and low roads, and bodies meeting bodies through the rye. At any moment you might get your feet cut off with a sickle, and not always your feet. And it would appear that everybody's body was rubbed over with gin, says so in the famous song. Gin a body coming through the rye. And those afternoons when the Campbells were coming to tea, most peculiar family, the Campbells, the gilly would rush in and say, the Campbells are coming, an or, the Campbells are coming, an or. Oh, I got tired of it. Always coming, never arrived. You no sooner got a gathering of the clan when old Mr. Campbell burst his bagpipe and the party was off. But the life and soul of the whole campaign was Charles Stuart himself, the young pretender. I had to hide him under my skirt once for safety. Not much pretence about him, but what a sport, what a sport. There he was, out in the mornings, playing those heeling games with the men. Do you know, he once tossed his caber so far it was found stuck up an old lady's girdle cake in Inverness, miles away. Still, the old girl was very pleased about it. Just a little present from over the sea. Charles and I, we were always quarrelling. We had a terrible row at the Caledonian Hotel, Edinburgh, all about nothing, really. What had happened was, Charles went into the hotel and asked for a tartan rum, and got both. All the poor boy wanted was just a little bit of fancy work on the settee. So I changed the subject quickly and talked finance, always dear to the heart of a Scot, and said, Charles, my dear, Charles, what do you think of the new fourpenny bit? And he said, where does she live? And you know, I could never get Charles to eat a thing, not a thing. I said to him one day, Charles, why don't you have a tongue sandwich? He said, oh no, I never eat anything that's come out of an animal's mouth. I said, well, have an egg, dear, you can't carry on like that. But through it all, whether in sadness or in gladness, with the sound of a pibroch rocking o'er the hill, there was always Flora MacDonald, blown out with porridge again and again.
Out in the hills with the wind up her top. Ooh, those young grouse. And never a sign of an old button Ben, whatever that was. Flora MacDonald, deep as the sea in the old further forth. Never a traitor was snatched Miss Foreign, oh no. Old Flora MacDonald, the hen of the north.
How do you fancy a quickie? Matilda did, but didn't. Matilda stands dressed for her wedding in a rich gown of pure white sateen, and the garment that she'll go to bed in is of hand-scallop pink crepe de chine. Her maids put the finishing touches when message is left at the door. She reads it, her bosom she clutches, then moans as she swoons to the floor. Cease all this idle chatting, take off me virgin wreath, send back me gown of white satin, me heart's broke to bits underneath. Send back the horse and the carriage, take back me gorgeous clothes, there ain't going to be no marriage. My fiancé's turned out one of those.